在上期节目里，澳大利亚地产大亨伊万·苏尼托先生为我们分享了他创业20多年来的心路历程，以及自己在澳大利亚创业成功的心得。本期节目，苏尼托先生继续做客雪梨视频悉尼会客室，为我们分享他对澳大利亚地产行业的独到见解。
So that's why I'm going to mention a really new project called the Sky Hotel Suites in Parramatta, which is well known for the innovative design. So could you please share us a bit more information about this new project?
Well, Sky is born out of the need of the people, right? In a way that Sydney has a shortage of hotel, right? We have about 85% occupancies. And everywhere, I mean, there's a shortage of that. But in particular, we see also a need of this hybrid of hotel, which are providing all the services, but lacking the size of the place that you live in, to the service apartment that often has the biggest space, but very basic facility. Well, Crown Group has got everything already in place. You got the urban resort, you got the garden, you got this 25 to 35 meter pool, and you have all the kitchens, facilities, and the restaurants around it within our building. So therefore, what we see is the need in the middle where people are saying, I want space, but I also want the facilities that comes with the hotel, and I want it to be more urban resort. Now in Sydney, you don't go to many places where you feel like you're in a resort. Like any hotel, even 5-star hotel in Sydney, more building you go to. But I am very much influenced a couple of hotels in the world, like Aman Resort, a hotel in Shanghai, in the middle of the Shanghai CBD called Puli Hotel.
Yep.
That was amazing to me. You walk in there and you walk as if you're walking into a mountain area, but right in the heart of the CBD of Shanghai. Now that's a sort of influence that is really the Crown Group urban resort that we're trying to bring to the hotel industry.
So I believe there must be a lot of Chinese, buyers, prefer Crown's, different projects because it's very luxurious building and it's kind of like a resort style, which is really unique. So my next question is, how important are Chinese consumers for the Crown?
Well, Chinese from all over the world are the most important clients for Crown Group. But then you think about Chinese, the main buyers are Chinese from China, yep. Chinese from Indonesia, Chinese from Singapore, Malaysian, Chinese from all over the world, right? But of course, the majority are made up the sheer volume of the Chinese from mainland China. Yep. They are 50% of our buyers, right? And wow. So these are local Chinese and Chinese overseas clients now. So they are very important for Crown Group, and it is the biggest buying power for Crown Group. Typically, they'll buy somewhere about $200 million a year for Crown. So we focus on a lot of importance for Crown Group, but we also see the need, not the need, but also the importance of alliance with Chinese, not just the Chinese buyers, but also Chinese entities from China. So we are dealing with groups that are significant groups, state-owned enterprise, major corporation from China that are looking at deploying the capital, but do not have the skill. Now, in the past, it used to be that Chinese group will then send the 1,000 troops from China, start the whole thing. But that day is over. Today is more professional. They're saying, we have the money, but we want your local skill to do it and grow it together with us. So that's a new culture that are emerging from China, and we're working with them closely to see if we can set up the next venture. Location is number one, because don't forget, in Australia, as an overseas buyers, you can only buy brand new.
Yeah.
Right. The question is, once the product has been bought, they're no longer brand new, so it has to be sold to the local market.
Yeah.
So it is so important for Crown Group to choose location that are not just strong for foreign buyers, but also strong for the local buyers, because after all, when they want to resell a product, it has to be sold to the local buyers.
Exactly.
Now, and it is important for our buyers to do well. Because if they don't do well financially, they will never come back.
Right. Yeah. But when you previously mentioned something about foreign investors, I've got another question. It's just because at this stage, it seems like this serious policy to restrict, foreign investors to buy the properties in Australia. So would you reckon maybe this kind of change will affect international investors, especially for the Chinese groups?
It has some impact, but however, the issue is always about the lack of supply, right?
Oh, yeah.
in Sydney. There are not many new buildings that are being built, and therefore there are not many choices for people who wants to, in particular for places that are near schools, near jobs, near hospital, near all of this facility. There's not many jobs that you can actually acquire. So therefore it's always, there is impact, but the impact is actually negligible for Crown Group. In particular for Crown, because we have a lot of followers that are cashed out. They can just pay $1 million, $2 million cash, or they use their facility from the bank from Singapore, from China. So they have, or they use their business to raise up the capital to settle on the property.
So what do you see, for example, the opportunities in this market? You know, what is, because it seems like, you know, in 2006 and 2007, the property price increase is not that much comparatively. So, so from this kind of perspective, what would you see the opportunities in the real estate market?
I think the growth will be single digit for the next few years. Instead of the double digit like 14-15% in the past 4 or 5 years, and I think that's healthy. I think you don't want to grow at 20% growth because it will then lead into a crash. So the government has done everything possible in the bank in terms of pulling back funding. Now, having said that, I do believe the price will continue to go up simply because there's a lack of supply in Sydney. The other thing is also it's because the buying power is no longer from local buying power, it's the global buying power. We are dealing with significant companies from China, from Japan, from all over the world that are coming in with significant money. And for them, $1 billion is almost the first check size. And therefore it will just continue to push properties in the right location. So I think my feeling is that it will just continue to grow, and it will grow sustainably, and I think that's healthy as a city.
That's great to, you know, for the Chinese community to know this information there. And also
I think it's also important to advise a lot of the Chinese buyers do buy from established developers, because it takes time to build a company, system, process, right? And you don't just open up a company in a new country and hoping that everything will work. So I think track record proves everything. People can put a nice brochures, nice images, but the question is, will they complete the building as well as the brochures will show? And oftentimes that you see people who are disappointed. Well, simply it's just look back to what they've done before, whether they're in their hometown, but more importantly, if they build something good in Sydney. Because a lot of developers, they might be short-term in thinking, they just build, move on. But established developers in Sydney are looking for more long-term.
Forward thinking, absolutely.
If my buyer invests in 1 unit, we're investing in 500 units in every development. So 1 million against $500 million. We are interested to make sure that everything we do has a long-term value to our customers.
So I can tell, you know, Crown has a really good, you know, great vision to build the lifestyle, the really unique lifestyle in Sydney. So that's why, as before you mentioned, like Crown is going to expand, you know, the different offices in the world. So do you have any specific plan, you know, to expand the office, you know, in China mainland?
I have been offered by people who see the expertise and the skill of Crown Group, and they say, why don't you come over and lead the design, the marketing, the concept really, and I love the concept that we do. And I thought about it. If the right opportunity come, I probably will look into it. At this moment, my thought about expansion is really Indonesia. So Sydney number 1, Melbourne, Brisbane number 2, but Indonesia will have to be the next growth, because Indonesia is almost like China 20-30 years ago, and there are a lot of these massive companies that are from China, from Japan, Korea, that are now going to Indonesia to invest, because they see the same future. Because it's 250 million people, and it's got a lot of younger population that are very technologically savvy community, and I came from there too, so it does help. So we are talking to developing in a bigger way in Indonesia, and I have been approached by a few Chinese companies that are saying, I need your expertise, but also I need your contacts that can open the door in Indonesia, and not the political contact to some extent, but it's more about finding land, finding opportunity. Now, I think combined together with the Chinese companies that have been used to building massive scales, like massive cities kind of scale, together with Crown Group's contact and scale, I think we can actually do well together.
Yeah, we look forward to it.